Listen carefully. On May 24th, thousands of brilliant aspirants will fail in the preliminary exam. Not because they didn't study, but because of a systemic emotional collapse at exactly 3:15 p.m. inside the hall for CSAT. CSAT is no longer a maths paper. It is a decision-making paper under pressure. Whether you are an IITian or a rural student, the trap is the same. You are fighting with your own emotions. So, today I am giving you the 7 mistake operating system. Control this and you become dangerous under pressure. That is why we are going to one level deeper into the mistakes. Those are 7 mistakes. That is mistake number 1, the classification trap. And this is also called the 10-second rule. What is the classification trap and what is the 10-second rule? Most of you start solving question number 1 immediately after receiving the question paper. That is wrong. Stop. Use the 10-second rule. Classify before you solve. Actually, the question is belongs to green zone or yellow type or red type. What is green type? This is direct question. You can easily solve the question. You have to solve immediately. Then comes to the yellow. This is the moderate question. So you have to wait for second round. And next come to the red question. This is for time sink. This is for time leakage. You have to skip instantly. You have to do is classify in the 10 seconds. Classify before you solve the question. Prioritize and then only you can solve and conquer the examination. For this, we have taken one PYQ, previous year questions from 2023. That is like this. If ABC and DEF are both 3-digit numbers, such that ABC, DE and F are distinct non-zero digits, such that ABC plus DEF equal to 1111. Then what is the value of A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F? So you have to read the question, and then after reading the question, you have to analyze. You have to classify the question. It belongs to which section, like green, which type, yellow or red. Then only you can move the question to solve. So this is after reading the question, you may understand this is alphanumeric puzzle. If you start solving it without a plan, it will eat 5 minutes of your time. So that is why this is classified into the red question. You have to classify it and then skip it and solve it only if you have time later. As far as red type question is concerned, so this question is belongs to red type question. This is the first mistake. This is all about first mistake. That is mistake trap. That is classification trap. And that is also called 10-second rule. We are moving to mistake number 2. That is time leakage. This is also called the stop loss strategy. CSAT is failure. CSAT failure is death by 1,000 small leaks. When you spent on when you spent 2 minutes on a stubborn puzzle, 3 minutes rereading a passage, suddenly the paper is over. The time is gone. 25 minutes waste. So, what will you do? Let's take one question PYQ 2022. An identity card. The question is like this. An identity card has the number A B C D E F G, not necessarily in that order, where each letter represents a distinct digit: 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 only. The number must be divisible by 9 and then further divisible by 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. As digits are deleted one by one from the right. Actually, this is the question. After reading the question, what you have to do is identify, classify the type of question, and then you have to move. This identity card digit logic requires 7 layers of divisibility testing, a massive time sink. So then you have to apply a 120-second stop loss. If the logic is not clear in 2 minutes, walk away. Walk away from the question. Move to the next question. This is the 1 second, 120-second stop loss. We are moving to the third mistake, that is the ego trap. This is also called as the engineer's trap. This is for my engineers. Your degree is your enemy here. You think like this: I'm an engineer, I can't leave this quant question. But this is not correct here as far as CSAT is concerned, because CSAT is dangerous. So, for that matter, we have taken 2023 PYQ, that is, how many distinct 8-digit numbers can be formed by rearranging the digits of the number 11, 22, 33, 44, such that odd digits occupy odd positions and even digits occupy even positions. This is the actual question. What you have to do is, as far as the question is concerned, UPSC knows you are comfortable with permutations. They give you this 8-digit number problem where manual counting is incredibly tedious. Don't die on this hill. An easy 2-mark average is worth exactly the same as this 8-minute trap. You have to remember one thing very much clear. All questions are carrying equal marks. So you don't waste time with critical questions like this type of questions, because we have to get the marks and we have to qualify the examination. That is our main agenda, not to solve all the questions in the examination as far as CSAT is concerned. So we don't addict to this ego trap, like have to I have to solve all the questions. You may lose 8 minutes here for the same mark, for the same question. You can easily in this time solve other questions which is also carrying same marks. So we are moving to mistake number 4, that is over attempting. This is also called as the accuracy versus volume trap. For my students who fear maths, panic breeds volume. I am saying you think you need 60 attempts to be safe, but you are wrong. Accuracy is your only shield, not the number. If you have 35 to 40 rock solid answers, stop. Don't gamble away your qualification on emotional guesses, because increasing the emotional guesses, your negative marking also increasing. You are moving away from qualify of the CSAT examination and the prelims examination as well. So accuracy is most important than value. Accuracy and precision is most important than volume and number of questions. So don't do over attempting, focusing on accuracy. Then we are moving to mistake number 5, that is reading comprehension panic. This is also called as the scope filter. Reading comprehension is about interpretation stability. Use this Metis filter in the reading comprehension. Moderate is greater than extreme. You have to identify moderate, focus on moderate rather than extreme statements or options. I have taken 2024 question CSAT, that is passage on food waste causing land degradation and carbon dioxide production. This is the entire meaning of the crux of the passage. So in this option 1 says distribution methods are solely responsible for food wastages. You have to identify solely. Solely is an extreme word. It is a trap. So in this way you have to identify the trap words. Then you have to identify the trap words. Then you can select the option. And 2024 question again, another question, that is passage on inflation and monetary fiscal policy. That is the crux regarding about. So in this passage, Look at the moderate inference. This moderate inference here is the effects of monetary policy depend on the physical policies pursued by the government. So depend on is realistic and structurally safer than an absolute statement. So as far as reading comprehension is concerned, when you come across with the statement that is moderate, you have to focus on that statement only rather than absolute statement or extreme word statement. You have to remember very carefully that is moderate statement is always the chance to become true option rather than extreme word option. So in this way you have to identify the statement or option in the particular passage. Moderate statement is safer statement rather than extreme word statement. Extreme is mostly trap word. So then we are moving to the sixth mistake, that is OMR disaster. A single shifted bubble can destroy an entire year. So you when you bubbling the OMR, never do this. Like never fill OMR question by question. Use the 10 question batch. Solve 10 questions and bubble 10 questions. Then you take a 5-second breath to reset your brain and you can move. Then you solve 10 questions and bubble the 10. In this way, you have to maintain the momentum. Otherwise, a single shifted bubble can destroy an entire year. So that is why you have to be very, very careful regarding OMR filling, OMR bubbling. Not only questions or answers, even the hall ticket, even the admit card number, etc. etc. So we are moving to the mistake number 7, that is and final mistake, that is the emotional 50-50. When down to two options after finaling the two options, don't ask which is right. You have to ask yourselves which is structurally safer. Avoid movie trailers like options that sound exciting or extreme, because UPSC logic favors the moderate and inclusive rather than fancy statement, rather than exciting statement, rather than extreme statement. Structurally safer. You have to focus on that final option. You go with that option, the option mostly right option, correct option. So these all about mistakes. The 7 mistakes you have to avoid in the examination, like classification trap, time leakage, over attempting, ego trap, the emotional 50-50, reading comprehension panic, OMR Disaster, etc. And one more thing we have to address in this session, that is the 10-day war plan. You have to set your biological clock for May 2024 examination. Solve marks only from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. to train your brain for peak performance during the actual exam time. This is the most important thing you have to do for practicing the examination. This is like net practicing for the actual match. And we are moving to the next thing, that is the PYQ filter. You have to forget coaching marks. Solve 2021 to 2025 papers to internalize the real UPSC logic. You have to focus on previous year questions, because internalize the real UPSC logic, that is the actual UPSC. You have to focus on this in last 10 days. The formula sheet. Focus only on number systems, averages, percentages, and ratios. If wherever needs, you can write formula sheets. And this is the 10-day war plan for your CSAT examination, which will be held on May 24th. So you have to set the biological clock, the PYQ filter, and the formula sheet. And one more thing, very much clear, don't try to be a genius. It doesn't matter if you are from an IIT or a village. The OMR does not ask for your degree. On May 24th, don't try to be a genius. Again, I am telling you, be controlled, be selective, and be dangerous. And one more thing, the script which will we discussed from the top to bottom effectively uses, we have high impact examples from the 2022, 2023, and 2024 CSAT papers to provide concrete evidence for its tactical points for you, rather than a normal generalized explanation. So PYQs are most important for your examination. So you have to prepare on the lines. I will see you in the mains batch. Thank you and all the best.